Hey everybody, this is Zoltan, and we are on episode 9 of our Road to Glory with Milan Juniors. As you know, we started out as a one-star team, and we are working our way up. We finally got our first really big signing. I'd say he's probably our second big signing. We did sign Pasalek earlier in the season. We're in the middle of Season 2 right now. And I'm just going to show you where we left off last time and show you something that's kind of bizarre that I've just recently encountered. We did finally sell enough players to be able to have a transfer budget of 14.7 million, and I negotiated under that with this player that we're trying to get, and we finally got it to the point where we can accept the deal, and we did sell a couple of players so that we were able to do that. Just as a little recap, we did sign a couple of players here from free agency. These are 16-year-old players, as you can see here, who did come up in mid-season. Luckily, we did finally get Paolo Maldini back. He is our starting right back at this point. He started out on our team as a 50-year-old player coach who retired after season 1, and now we have him back as a region. So I can just kind of imagine that this is his younger son. As you know, his older son Daniel is already on our team. So this is a youth division that we're trying to build up, and we have another good young player here who is 19 years old and a lot of room to grow, and we're going to go ahead and sign him today. So I accept these terms. That basically brings my transfer budget down significantly. I go from 14.7 million to just under 500,000. Salary budget also took a pretty big hit as well, so I'm kind of left with not very much remaining. But I do have my eyes set on a really good player that I would like to have is this guy, Brun Larsen, who is basically like a backup third string right winger. I think Jadon Sancho will be sold probably by Dortmund at some point. And this is a 23-year-old winger here who I put on my watch list, who I would love to have, but he's very expensive. 24 million. What's really good about him is his release fee is 46 million, which is a lot more than what his transfer fee would be. So there's a lot of room for him to grow. But I've encountered something very strange about this. Is you can see the transfer is 24.7 million. It would really take a lot of effort for me to be able to get my money up to that point. My transfer budget is not even close to that. As you can see, I'm about 14 million shy of that. There's a lot of players here who I've recently signed that I don't want to get rid of. So I'm left with a bunch of players in my second and third string who I've put on the transfer budget. Now I do have a player here, Bettner, who I signed him basically as kind of a backup. He's 33 years old. And I also have Apodi, who's 35 years old. It would be great if I could try to sell these guys before they retire, so we'll see what we can do about these two guys. Other than that, I do have several other players that I've put on my list. These are kind of backups that came on my team last year as youth division players from my youth team. So I've put them on. They've already got a couple teams in contact, as you can see, and they're worth, in the 3 to 4 million range. 7 million for this guy, which would be great. He's exceeded his release fee, so his market value is now 7 million. If I could sell him, that would be excellent. Here's another one that's worth about 4 million as well. So, and there's one more guy here, a young player that came off my youth division. That I could get for maybe 4.5 million. Here's another one for 4 million. So, and then this guy for 3 million. So there's something I can do. If I can try to sell some of these guys, it can all hopefully add up, and I can get my transfer budget up to 25 million, which is where I need to be in order for me to sell enough to get the guy that I really want, which would instantly become one of my best players, my starting right wing. But let's see if it's possible. And I did encounter something here kind of bizarre. I can kind of back out of this because I've already moved forward. I did sell some of the guys that I was just looking at here. So let's take a look here at the next save up. So I was able to sell 4 or 5 of those guys. Let's take a look here at who was just sold. And if you look at my, I don't know why they don't keep a record of all of our transactions, which just seems really strange to me that that's not part of this game, or I just can't seem to find it. I don't know where it is. It's just weird that that doesn't exist, that shows details of all of my transfers. But as you can see here, I am currently negotiating with Teixeira. I think he's about 3.5 million. That was one of the guys that I have on my list. I do have some departures here. So as you can see, I did sell 3 guys. Bajere, I guess is how you say it. Ortegoza, and that old guy, Bettner. So he's, and I also sold Gomez, and that was a pretty big deal. I think I made about 5-6 million from that. And I also sold Apodi, which is another 35-year-old player. I can't believe I got anything for him, but I did make, I think, 750,000. So just trimming some of my team, getting it down as much as I can. And as you can see, my transfer budget is now at 19 million because I did accept all of those offers. I negotiated a little bit, try to get it up as high as I could in order to get me pretty close to what I still need here is, here's my guy, Brun Larsen, 78 overall, 23 years old, and he's asking for 24.7 million. So I could probably go down maybe a click or so because it does say there's a high chance of success, and he would welcome a move to our club. So that's also a positive. But look at that release fee is 46 million. There's a lot. That means that would be the new contract, would be around that same amount. So I could probably even go down to 22 maybe, but 19.8, I can't unfortunately set it at exactly what I would want. I would try to go 19.3 if I could, but even this 19.8, I can't accept the deal even if they do accept it because I don't have that much transfer budget. So 24.7 is reasonable. I'd actually be willing to pay that if I had it. So I need to sell a couple more guys. I still do have a few guys here on my list. So I am scouting these 2 guys, and then this guy's still on my list. I think he was at 4 million. So that would help me a lot. This is one I'm scouting. This guy is also on my list. I think he was also right around 4 million. And Russo is right around 4 million as well. So I need to sell at least one of these 3 guys, or maybe 2 of them, in order for me to get over the hump, in order for me to be able to get Brun Larsen. So I have Bernier, Mogridge, and Russo. So those are the last 3 guys that I can possibly sell that wouldn't really negatively affect my team too much. And this guy is on his way out the door. I just accepted the offer for him. I think that was for like 3.7 million for Teixeira. So let's take a quick look at what's left here. So yeah, oh no, 3.9 million. So I do have Russo is still here, and he's 4.5 market value, but his release fee is 5.7. So I should be able to get something very close to that market value. and Mogridge is right around, his market value is around the same as his release, maybe about 40,000 less. So those two, and then there's Bernier here is 3.6 million market value, but his release fee is 2.4, so they're not going to offer more than that. So I'm going to have to sell probably 2 of these 3 guys in order for me to get to that point. So you might think, okay, well, let's do that, and we can look. We do have a few days left in our schedule. We're on the 22nd of January right now, so we do have about 8 days left, maybe 9 days before the last day of the transfer window. And we have 2 games on the way, which I'm probably going to have to sim this game because you know, I need to be able to load and reload if my offers don't get accepted from the players on my list, because otherwise I'll never be able to get the guy that I really want. So I'm going to have to probably do this 2 or 3 times in order for me to get the desired result, because it's so tight at this point. I'm a few million short of my goal. But this is what I've been doing all the way through. I've been grinding as much as I possibly can to get this 1-star team up to, you know, ready for me to go to Serie A and actually be competitive. This is the middle of my 2nd season. So let's look at what happened. I actually did end up selling enough players. I think I sold 2 players in order for me to get up to that 25 million threshold that I needed. Let's see here. I did sell Russo and Bernier. So with those 2 combined, I was able to get myself up to 25.4 million. So that's exactly what I needed. And here's the big problem, which I find very bizarre, is if I go down to my Brune Larsen, he's still 78 overall, 23 years old. Now suddenly his transfer fee is at 35.3 million, and it says the club is not impressed with our terms, which I have not made any offer yet. I haven't done anything to cause this to happen. He just went up by 10 million for no reason, and I haven't made any offer. I don't know why it's saying this. So maybe something changed on their team. Maybe they sold someone that he's now suddenly more valuable than he was before. It even says over here that he's not impressed with our current offer, which is not what it said at all just a few days ago. That he said he would welcome a move where he would get more playing time. So obviously something changed on their team, because nothing changed with him. He's still 78 overall. He's still 23 years old. There doesn't seem to be any reason whatsoever why it would have suddenly gone up 10 million just in about 7 days. It really doesn't make any sense. If I were to take a look here at the transfer market news, and again, all they would have to do is press a button on here to show my transfer news, but it's not on here. I don't know why. And I have seen in the past, I've done saves where it did show this, but I don't see anything from my team. And what I'm really looking for right now is any indication from Borussia Dortmund that would indicate why they suddenly just changed. His status on the team somehow changed, even though his overall did not change. And I'm not seeing anything. Oh, there's a couple of... All right, so I am able to see this, which I've done other things in the past where that didn't come up. There's the 2 transfers that I just recently made a few days ago. Ortegoza for 6.6 million. That was really good. And then Bettner, who is 33 years old, so that's pretty good to be able to get that for him. But I did sell one other player, which is Behere, which doesn't show up here at all. So I don't know why that didn't pop up. So it's not a complete list. I really don't understand why you can't just press a button and it shows you all of your transfers. But it doesn't look like anything has really changed with Borussia Dortmund. I have no idea why. It's very puzzling to me why that happened. Why would they suddenly go up 10 million? I cannot understand that. So, oh, here's another. Oh, that's my deal where I actually purchased Mkhitaryan, which does show up there, so that's good. But it's just weird because I know I've sold other players that aren't showing up on this list, so it's not a complete list, and that's something lacking in this game. So the only thing I can do at this point is to back out, go back to my other previous save, which is unfortunate that I have so limited 5 slots to save things in. So let me go back here to where I was before and offer something so that I can kind of lock in that lower price and then try to sell a couple of players before it's time for me to before the deal expires. So let me go ahead. I could probably offer the full price because I do know that just by selling 2 players I do get up to that point. But let's just click down, one click down, so we get it to 22 million, and I can even offer a little bit higher salary, one click up, so that he doesn't get mad. But as you can see here, it says high chance of success, and he would welcome a move to our team. So there's really no reason why this shouldn't be accepted. I've only clicked down one click down from transfer fee, and I clicked up 1 from annual salary. So he should be happy with that, I would hope. He'll probably ask for some type of a win bonus or something. So that's really where I'm at right now. I need to advance a couple of days to see what happens. And really where I'm at is I really need to sell enough players to get up another 5 million to my team. And so let's see what just happened. I got an offer, which is kind of the same as what happened before. The offer is kind of low. Transfer fee of 2.1, even though his market value is 3.6. The release fee is 2.4, so obviously I cannot go higher than that. But because his market value is so high, I think they would be willing to accept something very close to it. So as you can see, I'm not allowed to go higher than this. That's 2.43 is the highest I can go, but I'll be at 2.406. I think that's fine. Try to get as much as I can for him. And now I'll just need to sell 1 more of those other 2 guys. If that can be done, then I'm hoping that they come back with a reasonable counteroffer, or if they accept the offer that I just made, that would be fine. Let me quickly go into my team. Wait, so I just have a few days left. I've got 7 more days after this. Very limited amount of time. And let's take a look at the team so we can get set up for this match. As you can see, Genoa is actually kind of pretty competitive with me. They just got relegated last season, so they're pretty similar strength as my team. For some reason, their goalkeeper is really low because it must be the other goalkeeper is either out of form or maybe they sold someone. Let's see how everyone's doing. So I've got one guy here as center back who is totally out of form, and I also have my left back, and my right wing is not really looking too good here, so I can play him one more day, even though I'm in process of negotiation with him. And let's change our center back to one of these guys up here. And my left back, just to put my team a little bit more in form. Maybe give Dembele his debut. And I can probably bring him in for somebody. So that's pretty good. And we can advance. I'm probably going to lose this game. Right now, it's not a big deal for me to lose, because these are the top 3 teams that I would expect 1-0, so I'm still in the top 3. Really, I got to look out for Chievo. That's really my only competition to make sure that I do get promoted this season. So I took a loss there, just because I may have to do this over a couple of times in order for me to get the right results here. So negotiations, he accepted my offer. That's insane. And I got an offer for Russo. That's also pretty cool. So I was expecting a counter offer. I hate to tell you, guy, but I don't have the money. I just offered you something I don't have. So I only have 19 million, and I just offered him a transfer fee of 22 million. Hopefully Borussia Dortmund doesn't know what my bank account looks like, because I just offered them something I don't have. Salary's fine, didn't ask for any appearance bonuses or anything, and all I need is just another 2 million, and that will give me enough. And that's very interesting. If you look at what I was facing just a few moments ago with 10 million as an increase, 35 million, that would be insane. There's no way I could have gotten 35 million, and it just didn't make sense why that went up 10 million in just a few days. All right, well, I'm very tempted to just take this now. Let's see. So this one, we're in negotiations. So is that going to be enough? Let's see, the transfer fee, if they accept that, that's 2.4 million. And that will put me at 19.7. Let's see, that'll put me at 21.7. I don't think that's enough. No. Still be about 500,000 less. So let's see. Yeah, I'm tempted to just take this. You know what I'll do is I'm going to save this, because I don't want to lose this moment that I'm in right now. And I'll save this in a new slot. Because I was not expecting him to accept that deal so quickly. I thought I would be in negotiations. So let me go ahead and ask for a little bit higher on Russo, because that's kind of a little bit of a low ball offer. His market value is 4.5 and they're offering 2.8. His release fee is 5.7, so that shouldn't be holding us back at all. I should be able to offer get something closer to 4. And let's see if they accept that. Which is a little gamble, because I'd rather have the money right now. That would put me over the line, and I would probably be able to just go ahead and get my guy right off the bat. So hopefully they're going to be patient here for a couple of days. I'm hoping. Let's see what happens. So this is probably going to take 3 days for them to come back with the counteroffer. Hopefully it happens before the 29th, which is my next match. So this one. Alright, so that is not surprising. They did accept the offer for this guy. Bernier is 2.4 million. Alright, so that brings me up to 21.7 as I had already calculated, which still is a little low. I'm still, I think, about a little less than $1 million short. So definitely I could have just accepted this deal here with Russo and I would have had enough. But let's see if I advance probably 2 more days. Even if they counter, I'll probably just accept whatever they come back with. Alright, so this is player departure. And I'm hoping to get my counter offer here, which I do. Russo, okay, they countered me. So I think it's not a really good deal for me, but I'm kind of in a jam. So I do need to accept this, whatever it is. So 3.7, I think they're getting a pretty good deal. So I think it's a little higher than what they initially offered, but not much. So I'll go ahead and accept the terms here. That brings me up to 25.4 million. And now I have enough to go to my other negotiations. And I am above it now, so I can just go ahead and accept this deal. And now I'm at 3.1 million, so I cleared it pretty easily. Still have a salary budget of 2.2 million as well, so I'm doing okay. I forgot to mention before, I had now recently brought in a couple of youth team players, so to replace some of the guys that I just sold. I do have a backup Jimenez, backup attacking midfielder, who has a market value of 12.9 million, so that was pretty good off my youth team. And I also have a backup center mid, Musa Dembele, who has a market value of 10.9 million. So both those guys came off of my youth team. And there's still a few more guys here that I can eventually bring in, so that's why I'm not afraid to sell. For example, I sold Bettner, who is one of my backup center forwards, and I can bring in Uribe, who also has a real face, by the way, and is a 10 million market value. So little by little, I'll start bringing some of them in as well. And that'll be my next thing as I advance through the second half of Season 2. And let's see how much I can generate some cash. I have everything currently set up to funnel all money into my salary budget, because that's kind of the most difficult to make money, and the transfer budget just will increase as I sell players. So let's go ahead and save this just so we don't lose the progress that we just made, and I will advance 1 day so that we can see this guy walk out. Our new signing. So we just signed 2 really good quality players, an attacking midfielder and a right wing, both young and a lot of upside. I definitely think their quality is good enough to play in Serie A as starters. So definitely improving this team. As you know, when we first started out, all the players were 66 or below. So he's got a real face and everything, which is cool. And they like each other. And this is the ball. Yeah, you're going to kick this over there. Just kick the ball. Okay. So that's it. And we can... one thing I kind of want to do I wonder what this message was. Player departure and newcomer. So let's back out of this situation here. I just wanted to show one last thing which I thought was kind of interesting. Is we just had the data pack with the new faces that just came out, which is always cool. But there's something here I thought was a little weird. If you look at this guy, look at this dude's face, man. What was he doing on the day that he got his face scanned? I do not understand how this guy's face got into the game. Look at that. That's a mean looking dude. Alright, so we're going to end here on that note and be lookout for episode 10. The second half of season 2. We'll have some gameplay probably coming up soon. And that's it. Milan Juniors.